my name is Jennifer McCune. Super excited to welcome you to another episode of Mompreneur Next Door. And for those of you tuning in the first time, just a little background, Mompreneur Next Door, I founded this platform recently, and the idea really is there's so many moms out there looking for something flexible, a great way to be with their kids, and an opportunity to still make money and have a professional life. So I've met so many incredible moms on this journey and really wanted to highlight some of them in the hopes of inspiring and supporting some of you who may be looking for something. So this week, I'm super excited to welcome Cyndi Walter to Mompreneur Next Door. And Cyndi and I connected via LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. It's a great way to connect with amazing people. Social media in general has been really helpful for me on my own Mompreneur Next Door journey. Cyndi and I connected on LinkedIn, had a great conversation, and I told her about what I was doing and asked if she would be my guest, and she said, absolutely. I think Cyndi was one of the first people who agreed to be my guest, and just timing worked out. This is when we're doing it. So Cyndi is an amazing mom and wife. She has 4 wonderful kids, and her journey is a little different. She has had a few different mompreneur gigs, and I'm excited for you to all hear from her. So welcome, Cyndi. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks so much, Jennifer. I'm so excited to be here and so glad that LinkedIn brought us together because it's so fun to collaborate with other mompreneurs.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. So tell us, I know your kids are a little bit older now, and you've been in the direct sales industry for a very long time. Tell us a little bit about what you were doing prior and why you even landed on direct sales.
Sure. So it is kind of an interesting story. I didn't have a fairy tale childhood, and I did not have the luxury of going away to college. And so I decided I needed to go to college, and so I would work my way through. And I went to a 2-year school to get my associate's degree, but it took me 3 years because I had to work full time in order to be able to pay to go to school. And so I am just always used to hard work. I worked full time. I went to school full time. I taught aerobics. I waitressed, and I did whatever it took to get through. And long story short, it took me 8 years to get my bachelor's degree. And during that time, say that again?
But you did it.
But I did it. I did not give up. Absolutely. And during that time, I always used to look at the ads in the classified part of the newspaper. Back in the day where we had newspapers that we actually read. And I saw an ad and answered it. And that was my first experience into direct selling. I partnered with a company for a very short time because I ended up, with school and everything I had going on. I didn't stick with it long, but that's what opened my eyes to direct selling. So then once I finished with school and I got married, and my husband and I moved, we started our married life in New Hampshire, but then we moved to Ohio, which is where I am now. And we decided that I would be a stay-at-home mom. And here I am, after I paid so much money, worked so hard to get my education. Now I'm not going to be working and using my degree. So I was like, oh my goodness. All right. So my neighbor and dear friend said, why don't you look into direct selling? And I told her my little stint that I had done in it. And she's like, you'd be so good at that. You love to be around other moms. Maybe doing parties in moms' homes would be something that would be great for you. So I did. And I stayed with a company for 10 years. And I always joke, I really didn't make much money those first 10 years, but I had 4 kids in 7 years. I was home with them every day. And it gave me a good excuse to get out a couple nights a week, be around other moms because I really, really needed that, and gave my husband some good time with the kids. And so I did that for 10 years. Someone from that company introduced me to my next one, where then I found success. That's when I learned about personal development and growth and mindset and the importance of that. That's where I found that I love to travel. I earned incentive trips, and I was one of the top 26 leaders there. I loved it, loved it, loved it. But what happened was my kids got older. They all played sports, multiple sports. So I was constantly going to games, and I was, the taxi mom now, and I didn't want to be out in the evening doing parties and being away from my family. So I decided to look for an online business around 7 years ago. So I've been doing more network marketing online with health and wellness for the past 7 years. So it, very, very different from home parties. But everything that I learned in those first 20 years really drove me to be able to be successful now in my new company. So that's pretty much it. And, you know, I've met so many amazing people like you while I've been on this journey and made some of the best friends in the whole wide world.
So you alluded a little bit, and I want to talk more about how you ended up with the company you're with. You alluded a little bit about the not wanting to have the home parties and being able to use social media more. But tell us more about this, because I think there are a lot of moms out there, they're looking, but they're not quite sure how to find different things. How did you find the one that you're with now?
I think my best advice on that really is finding what you're really, really passionate about. I've been into fitness my whole life. The way I got off my baby weight after every baby was I'd put my tennis shoes on the second the doctor gave me permission, and I'd be out running. And I would, you know, I joined Weight Watchers. I'm a lifetime Weight Watcher member. And that's how I lost my weight after every child. So when it was time to make a change, I really thought long and hard about what am I most passionate about. I honestly did not even know the difference back then between direct selling and network marketing. I only thought people did parties in people's homes. Like, that's all I knew. So when I started researching, my mind was blown at how many companies there were. So you really have to find what you're most passionate about. So for me, it was just absolutely natural for me to look into health and wellness, because people have been asking me for advice on working out and food for years and years and years. So when I decided I was going to do that, then it just came time, all right, let's find the right company. My last company, I love so many things about it, but the one thing that was difficult was bringing new people in. There was never any opportunity for them to out-earn me. And I wanted to make sure that whatever company I chose, first I looked at the product. So they had to be safe for pregnant and nursing moms, because that's primarily what I work with, although we have a lot of men now in this business. But for 20 years, I only worked with women. So I needed safe and effective products, all natural. But I really wanted a compensation plan that I wouldn't be the only one making money, because as you know, you really want to really bless other people to be able to have that financial freedom piece of it. And if you have someone that has a bigger network than you want them to be able to earn, you know, more money. I've had two people out earning me at a couple points during my last 7 years. And I'm like, that a girl, go for it. That's so cool. So I really looked long and hard on the products, the compensation plan, the integrity of the owners. I needed to make sure it was a company that gave back, because charity and contribution is very, very huge on my list of, you know, absolute musts. And that's what I did. So I just, you know, one by one, when I would see an ingredient I didn't like, I'd toss out that company, toss out this company. And then I got down to the business, and, you know, there was only a couple companies left standing, and then I chose mine. And when you choose the right fit for you, that's natural. It just flows. It just flows. So that was super, super important. And it's been a wild ride for the last 7 years, to say the least.
Did you do that research on the internet? Is that
Yep.
how you just researched on the internet and found what you wanted and reached out to corporate and just tried to find somebody that you could work with?
That's exactly what I did.
Fantastic. That's wonderful. Yep. So how has being a mompreneur changed your life? How have all this path, this journey that you've laid out, direct sales, network marketing, how has this changed your life?
Well, I'd have to say, you know, gosh, on a personal level, you know, all I cared about, and what I wrote for my ambition in my high school yearbook, was to have a big, happy family. That is honestly all I cared about. And to be able to say, you know, my baby is now going to be a senior in high school, and my kids have only known me to work from home. I got them on the bus. I got them off the bus. I went to school parties. I was room mothers. I went on field trips. I went on big trips to New York City, Washington, D.C. You know, there's definitely been sacrifices along the way, for sure. I've missed some things because of maybe corporate events I've had to be at. But I think if you were to ask any of them, they would say what a gift that my mom, I'm getting choked up telling you, my mom was there for me. Because I didn't have that. You know, I was an only child. I had two blue collar factory working parents, and I don't remember, ever feeling that. I was always at babysitters being shoveled around, and my kids got to have me home, and what a blessing. So it's funny because now my son is 24 and he graduated college, was a civil engineer, and he was just not very happy. And he said, Mom, can you help me do what you do? And so after 1 year of building, he's now working with me full time. And like that's probably one of my favorite things that's ever happened to me in 27 years being in this industry. But, for moms that truly want to be home with their kids, this industry is just, it's perfect. It's perfect.
And I love highlighting other moms who are having success in this industry, because sometimes the industry can get a bad rap. And it's so great to showcase and highlight the amazing things. I agree with you. I'm able to walk my daughter to school every day, be home with the kids after school. Yes, of course, we miss some things here and there due to trips we've earned and conventions and those sorts of things. But in general, the flexibility along with the opportunity to really make life-changing money is unprecedented in other areas that we could work in. So it's incredible.
Yeah, and not to mention low to very low overhead. Like there's not a lot of expense involved. It's not like we have to buy a brick and mortar building, and it's not like that. So it's such a low risk thing that it's just, I wish everyone knew about it and everyone did it, because there's a lot of great companies out there.
Right, exactly. So all that being said, as much as you and I love this industry and know it's amazing and see how many benefits it's offered to us and so many other moms, there are challenges. We all face challenges. So tell us a little bit more about some of your biggest challenges that you've experienced.
Oh, and I still face them to this day. I mean, even, with all my experience and all I've been through, this morning I found that two of my leaders that I just believe in and I've poured into and I've invested so much time and energy into, they're like on a hiatus. And, heartbreaking, because I want it for them, not because it's going to affect my paycheck. I believe in them so much and I see it for them. So sometimes that happens where, we can't want it more for you than you want it for yourself. And so that can be difficult, because I want it for everyone. And I know without a doubt what's possible for people. And I can see people's giftedness. And when they have it and they're not using it, it just breaks my heart, especially when you have the power to impact other people. Like, this is so not about me. This is so not about you. This is about who can we impact? Who can we help? Who can we make a difference for? Who can we add value to? And so, I still have little things like that happen to this day. I've had tough things, when my kids were smaller, they didn't understand the blessing of mom being home. So then when they would see me on my phone, they'd be like, Mom, you're always on your phone. And I'm like, okay, listen, but I'm not punching a time clock and leaving you every day. I'm home working so that I can be with you. Now that they're older, though, they really have come to appreciate it, and very rarely do they ever give me a hard time anymore. And now they get to travel with me and experience all of that. But that was a challenge when they were little. It's hard to juggle a lot of things when you're juggling a business and you want to be professional and you want to be the best mom and the best wife. So it's a lot of balls in the air, but I don't know of anything more wonderful than being, especially when you're blessed to be able to be a work from home mom. I would take all the distractions. I would take all of the challenges any day to be able to, be here for my kids and not miss out on anything.
Right, absolutely. And you alluded to, I think, another challenge that a lot of moms either face or worry about doing a home-based business is, how did you, especially when the kids were little, establish those boundaries of, okay, I work from home so I can be with you more, but I also am working. How did you handle that? challenge?
Yeah, and my best advice to maybe moms that have smaller children is, I had to really maximize my time. So it was, back in those days, I was getting up and I was working out before my husband went to work. And then I would come to my desk and I'd do as much as I could before the kids got up. I'd get them off to school and then I'd get my shower. And then if I had little ones at home, I wouldn't be able to work again until nap time. And so it was really figuring out those pockets of time and being super organized and getting as much done, whatever windows I had of time, and maximizing that. And so then when my husband would come home at night, he might take the kids and play and go outside, and I would get some more work done. So it was just really figuring that out. And it wasn't perfect, and it was messy sometimes, and it didn't always work, but we got the job done, and we have the life now that we have because we figured it out. And it won't always be easy. And there'll be times where, I had guilt because I wasn't able to be all in my business because I had little children. And then I had mommy guilt if I was away from my kids and missing something. But I learned after, experience that it all balances out, and not to live in a place of guilt, because my family was my why, and still to this day is my burning why, my biggest why for why I wanted to do this business. So I had to use all of that and focus on my why, and not let the distractions or the challenges deter me from my goals, because I knew why I was doing this was to have more quality time with my family, to give them a better life. I did not want my kids to go to college like I did. I wanted them to be able to choose whatever college they wanted to go for and not pay for it till they were 30 years old. And we've been able to do that. So it's all paid off.
And that's mom life in general. Mom life is kind of messy. Whether
Mhm.
you work full time, stay home full time, have your own mompreneur gig. So why not have it be messy? And then in 5 to 10 years or whatever that looks like, have it be more amazing than you thought possible. So
Absolutely.
I totally hear you. So we talked about one of the benefits is that you get to be with your children and you have that flexibility, and college is paid for your children, which is wonderful. I'm sure there have been some other benefits to having your own business that go well beyond anything you ever envisioned you would have. Can you talk to us more about that?
Yeah, I would say experiences, some of the things that I've been able to do with them, like, not having to worry about money when it comes time to back to school shopping. We always go shopping and we have a ball. I have 3 daughters. So I have one son and then 3 girls, and, homecoming dresses and proms and all of that stuff. Not having to worry about the money has been wonderful. Taking them with me on trips, priceless. I mean, my younger ones especially have gotten to go to the Grand Cayman Islands, um, the Bahamas, all over, these fabulous trips. And it's like, with 4 kids, we would not have taken vacations like that. When they were little, we didn't fly anywhere. If we couldn't road trip it with a minivan, we didn't do it. So the experiences we've been able to have, we now take 2 weeks every summer. We're going to make it 3 next year. And we go to the lake in northern Michigan, and I can still bring my work with me and check in every morning. I still do some work while I'm there, but oh my gosh, it's so relaxing. And so with the experiences it's allowed us to have with our family, absolutely priceless. Probably one of my all-time favorite things, and story to tell, and I barely ever get through this without crying, so I'll try. My husband, my family was quite dysfunctional. My husband is one of 5 kids, very close-knit family, beautiful parents. And his dad was diagnosed with cancer. And because of my income, my husband has been a part-time kind of consultant for the last 4 years with his work. And so when his dad got sick, there was absolutely no question he was going to be the primary caregiver. He drove, and we live an hour and a half from Cleveland, where the best hospitals are. And he brought him every week to every appointment. He was there every step of the way for an entire year. And we were able to do that. That kind of freedom is something that is so priceless. If he were to have just a full-time corporate job and he were our primary bread earner, that wouldn't have been so easy. It wouldn't have happened.
Absolutely. That's priceless.
Mm-hmm.
That time, that's amazing. That's wonderful. So, I mean, you've told us so many wonderful things. When you think about you as a younger you, what advice would you have given you back when you were going through all of this?
That it takes time. For me, I needed a lot of personal development, and it took me a long time to become very successful in this industry. Some people get started and maybe they had a different upbringing, maybe they had more education, maybe they were lucky enough to know about personal development and growth growing up, and their journey might be shorter than mine. But mine, it took me 20 years of growing until I figured it out, came to this company, and then I had my success. So it takes patience. It takes a lot of personal development and growth. One more blessing that I've given my kids, and it's kind of because of what you just asked me, they've grown up with personal development. They read the books I read. They hear the speakers that I get to hear at my conferences. They know all of this stuff. So now I'm sending them off to college, and they've got a base to start with, where I didn't have that at their age. So I feel like they understand so much more than I did at their age because they've been raised in this environment. So I wish I would have had that for sure, but it took me a long time to get there. So, I would say, have grace, because I was very hard on myself, and I did compare myself to other people in the beginning. And, that's my best advice to new people starting now. I'm like, don't compare your start to my middle. There's just no compare. I've got 27 years now in this. You cannot compare yourself to where you are starting now to where I am after 27 years. And that is not going to help anyone. Your job is to be the best version of you. And I just try to teach people from many mistakes that I've made along the way that, your job and your goal is to be better today than you were yesterday, and just keep growing. And I still listen to personal development every single day. I still show up. I take notes. I sit in the front. I don't sit in the back and think I'm too good to go into trainings. I've got it all figured out. I could be training everybody. I am still a student. I still work hard. Here I am 27 years in, reaching out to complete strangers on LinkedIn to make new friends. That's how I met you. I still work. I still do the do. And look what comes out of it. Look,
Absolutely.
Relationships. Now you and I can help each other and collaborate and work together.
Absolutely. 100%. So personal development, that was one of the questions I was going to ask you. What are some of your favorites that you can recommend to people, either podcasts or books or other things?
Okay, so I am a huge John Maxwell fan. I absolutely love him. He is the best trainer of leadership. I could take out about 15 books right here from my bookshelf next to my desk and show them to you. And he just wrote a brand new book on network marketing called The Power of Five for Network Marketing. So any of you guys that are into network marketing, that's a great book to have. But so many great books from him. We were just talking about Rachel Hollis coming to your conference. I'm a big Rachel Hollis fan. Anything that I search on YouTube for motivational things that I can listen to. So while I'm driving or even getting ready in the morning, doing my hair and makeup, I'll have a podcast on that I'm listening to. Anything motivational. Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Eric Worre is a trainer in the industry of network marketing. I listen to him a lot. I do a lot of Christian books and studies and affirmations. And so I'm always listening or reading something.
That's fantastic. I love that. And it goes back to what you were saying. Our kids have learned all that and seen this environment. Our kids have seen what's possible, that it's not just that you have to go to school and get a job, that there are entrepreneurial opportunities open to them. It's just so amazing. So before I let you go, I want to ask you the gold nugget question, giving, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 tips that you would give to people who are listening in, people who either are thinking about this or just starting a business. Do you have some tips that you can give to people, actionable items?
Okay, one more book in person to follow. Brendan Burchard.
Oh yeah, he's great. High Performance Habits.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And what I learned from him, I'd already been doing, he coins it a little bit differently. He calls it time blocking. Moms have got to be organized. If that is an area you need to figure it out. I have my iPhone. Everything is online, but I still have a beautiful happy planner that I bought very inexpensively at Joann's Fabrics. And I have everything written out and it sits right in front of me. So I know every day what my kids' activities are, what my mom responsibilities are, what my business responsibilities are, every appointment, everyone I need to follow up with, that I need to coach. It is all right here. So being organized is like a tip that it's a must. When you want to be a mompreneur, no matter whether it's a brick and mortar building, whether it's a network marketing company, you've got to be organized. And take that so far as to plan out your meals. There's nothing worse than, kids coming home from school, what's for dinner? I used to do big time freezer meal workshops where I would cook for a whole month and get everything prepared and in the freezer, assembled, ready to go. So I could just simply take things out of the freezer, stick it in the oven, and there's lasagna for tonight or whatever. And I still do that every once in a while. I've kind of slowed down on my cooking because I only have one at home now. But when everybody was here, it was a lot. So be organized with all of that. 2 would be, take your health seriously. When you're a busy mom and you are a mompreneur, you need to get enough sleep so that you can function and you have the energy it takes to do it all. You have to eat properly. You really should be active. Find something. If you're not, I get a lot of people say to me, I don't like to run marathons. I'll never run a marathon. You don't have to run a marathon. Go for a walk. If you have a pet, just take the dog out every day and go for a walk. Take a yoga class. Find something that you like to do. Make that your girlfriend time. I meet girlfriends and we run together, or we'll go to Orange Theory, or we'll take yoga together. That can be your girlfriend time, but take time to take your health seriously with nutrition and fitness and sleep. Like it's really very, very important if you want to be successful in this business. And I would say the third tip would be never stop growing. I always tell people, I'll be a student forever. And I liken it to, I've been taking some type of a Bible study for like 17 years now, and I'm never going to know all there is to know. I'm always going to have to be studying and learning. Same thing with my business. It's not like you get to a point when you're a business owner that you've arrived and you need to stop learning. I am still so excited to go to every training, conference, show up on Zoom meetings. I buy trainings. I do all kinds of things, always listening and growing, because there's always going to be a golden nugget you can get out of everything that you listen to or read or watch that can help you be more successful, and tacking onto that, paying it forward. This is just not about us. It's about who can we help, who can we impact. That is what I live for, service, really living to serve other people, and just being so grateful for all that I have and really paying that forward.
And I love these tips because they're not just about being a mompreneur. They're just good for women, people in general. I mean, those are fantastic. I love that. So nearing the end of our time, I will give you the final platform. Is there anything that I have left out that you would like to mention to people? Is there anything at all that you think that, oh, I wish she would have asked me this. Why couldn't I say this?
You did a great job asking questions. I don't think there's anything you missed. I would just probably want to leave you with encouragement that being a mompreneur is not easy. I've been in this industry for a long time, and I've seen a lot of people quit. And I would say, don't ever quit on your dreams. If you've got big dreams and big goals, and there's things that you want for your family, make them your why and not your excuse. Too often, moms will have a lot of excuses on why they can't go to a conference or show up for a training or different things. And I've always said that I use my kids and my family as my why, not my excuse. And I always keep dreaming and making it bigger and bigger and bigger, and bringing more people along with me and teaching them to dream. And when you live a life of adding value to other people and encouraging other people, and really trying to teach them and show them the way, and being a leader, which is what John Maxwell is all about and what he teaches and preaches 24/7, and I've totally bought into, you can't help but be successful. Everything really falls into place. So when you're finding either a company that lights you up or a product that gets you super excited, whatever it is for you, be all in with it. When you're working, be all in with that. When you're with your family, be all in with your family. and know that by impacting other people and making a difference in other people's lives, you'll find the level of success you're seeking. Your dreams will come true. You can have it all. You really can. Don't think or be misled that you can't. Absolutely. Moms can be the best moms. I mean, I am a better mom, wife, business owner, friend, everything because of this industry, of being a mompreneur, and of learning all the skills that I've needed to learn to get to this spot. I'm a better human being.
I 100% agree with you. And I'm so grateful for your time today, your abundance. You're going to be so inspirational to so many moms out there, to so many women out there. I know so many people are going to really appreciate the advice that you shared. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you. And thank you for being on Mompreneur Next Door.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me. It was quite an honor and a lot of fun, Jennifer.